Hi guys, so today we're going to try marbling with nail polish. Before we start though, I'm going to go over some of the materials. Here is a mug that I'm going to do the marbling design on. Here are the nail polish. You guys please make sure that it's okay with your mom or your sister that you're using their nail polish. If you have acrylic paint, you can also try to do this with acrylic paint. Make sure that it's not a heavy type of acrylic paint. The heavy type is just going to glob onto the water. It's not going to separate the way that a liquefied acrylic paint might. So if you're doing acrylic paint, make sure that it's not a heavy kind of paint. I have a pencil. I have some tape. I'll tell you in a minute what the tape is for. I have a bag. The bag is to protect the inside of the mug. I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. And then I have a rag in case we do any spills. We have the rag to clean it up as soon as possible. I have a container. This is approximately the size of a shoebox, and I already filled it with water. There's already water in here. I didn't fill it up to the top because I'm actually going to dip this mug into the water, and so if this is filled up to the top, the water is going to spill over. So I'd say fill it up high up so the cup is able to submerge in there, just not all the way to the top. So at least leave a quarter of the container I guess empty, right? So 3/4 full and then a quarter no water in, right? So just to make sure the water has enough room to rise without spilling over. Okay, so I have 5 different color nail polish here. Something to keep in mind is some of these nail polish are metallic. Like this one, for example, it's kind of shiny, so it's metallic. So I don't recommend, once you get this nail polish on the mug, I do not recommend that you put these mugs in the microwave, because the metallic of the nail polish is going to cause a negative reaction in the microwave. I also don't know if the microwave is strong enough to melt these paints off, so I just don't recommend you put these mugs or whatever it is that you're going to marble onto into the microwaves. Okay, so the first thing that we should do is protect the inside of the mug, and so what we're going to do is take a bag. I just had this produce bag on handy just here laying around. So what I'm going to do is tuck the bag in here as far as it can go, and then I'm going to take the tape and I'm going to tape, so the mouth of the bag I'm going to tape to the mouth of the mug, so none of the paint is able to go inside of the mug. It'll just stay on the outside of this plastic bag here. So I'll do that, and then I'll restart the video to show you what it should look like. Okay, so I taped I just put a little bit of tape, and I cut some of the bag and attached it to the cup, and I did that all around. It's just to protect it a little bit, but I'm still, once I get all this situated and I go in to dip the cup, I'm still going to avoid reaching this area as much as I can, so none of the water or the nail polish gets inside of this area. This is just in case it gets out of control. We're just protecting it, okay? Okay, so we can remove the tape and my scissors away from here. I needed the scissors to cut the tape. Okay, so before we start pouring these things in here, you got to make sure and shake these up, because sometimes they sit there for a while and they look like they're watered down, and so I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but the paint isn't sitting with the rest of the chemicals that the polish has, and so when you pour the nail polish out, the paint doesn't pour out. It's just this clear liquid stuff that pours out of it before the paint even comes out. So you gotta make sure that they're all mixed up first. And so I'm just gonna shake them for a couple of seconds just to make sure that they are ready to go. I'm actually not sure if this is gonna open. This one was bleeding out. I'm not sure why. I guess I didn't close it right when I was finished with it, so I guess I'll just leave that. So I have 4 colors here, which is okay. I think 3 colors would do the job. It's gonna look nice. But again, if you get permission from your mom or your sister or whoever is going to let you borrow the nail polish, use as many colors as you like. So once, oh, and I forgot to mention, make sure wherever you're working, you have some kind of a sheet of paper or some bags or some paper bags or old t-shirts that you're never going to use again to cover your area, so if the paint spills, it doesn't ruin your table or wherever it is that you're working in. I'm going to unscrew these caps just so they're ready to go when I need to pour them, because you actually need to work fast. The reason why is because it's nail polish and it dries faster than paint, and once the nail polish dries on top of the water, it's just going to be a stiff paint floating around and it's not going to stay onto your cup here. Okay, if you don't have like a shoebox size container, you can use a bucket, and then if you're going to use a bucket, then maybe it's better to work outside. Any container that's bigger than your cup is going to be good. Okay, a container that you're not going to be worried that it's going to be stained or ruined with nail polish. Okay. All right, so you have your water, you have your nail polish. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pour a couple of drops into the water. That's the blue. Here's my gray. Okay, here's the other blue. It's a lighter blue. And then here's the peach color. Okay, and so the pencil, the reason why we need the pencil is just to kind of swirl some of these colors around. And you can swirl as much as you want. Just do it as quick as you can because you see the paint is already drying. So once you're satisfied with how many swirls you want, you can start to dip your cup in here. And then you lift it up. And then you can see, can you see? The marbling effect that you did onto the water is now on your cup. And you can let this dry and do it again if you want. It's up to you. If you're not happy with this design, then you can go ahead and just let it dry and just redo it. You can do it in the same colors or darker colors. It's totally up to you. I recommend letting this dry upside down so the water can just run off the paint. You see how it's kind of like dripping down? It's gonna run off the paint, and then once the water is all dry and then the paint is all dry, it should stay on there. But if you want it to really be sure to make sure it's permanent, then I would spray it with a lacquer. I think you can order those lacquers online, but they're very toxic, so you'll have to have your parents spray it for you, okay? I guess you can also paint it over with let me see if I have some here. It's the Mod Podge. See, this one says it's a water-based sealer. I'm not sure actually if this is good for these kinds of projects, just because, you know, when you're done using it, you'll wash it, and I don't know, maybe the water is going to wash this off of there. So I would actually just go with a lacquer. I'm actually not going to be using this to drink out of. This is just a cup that I use to hold my paintbrushes. So I don't plan to spray it with anything. I might dip it one more time in the marbly nail polish just to make sure all of this other side gets a design. And I may use other colors. But if you just plan to have this cup, you know, sitting on your desk just to give your desk a little bit of decoration, then don't worry about spraying it with a lacquer or anything like that over it. Okay guys, I hope you had fun. I feel like there's more cleanup, there's more time. More time is kind of like dedicated to cleaning up than to actually like doing the project. But I think it's okay, but because I think it's fun and it looks really pretty. If you have a couple of other things that you want to marble, it's a good thing that you have all this stuff set up already. So I think maybe like ceramic things and also like plastic containers that maybe you want to decorate. You can possibly also marble glass. If your mom has some kind of vase like to hold flowers, you can probably, you know, marble a little bit of that too if they're okay with it. It's totally up to you what you want to marble. Just make sure it's a hard surface. I'd stick to ceramic, glass, or plastic just to make sure the nail polish stays on there. Okay guys, well, once you're done with your project, take a picture of it, send it to me. I'd like to see what your designs look like on your objects. Okay, bye.